guys, welcome to my educational vlog. And for today, I am tackling about culture, the meaning, characteristics, and function. The customs, traditions, attitudes, values, norms, ideas, and symbols govern human behavior pattern. The members of society not only endorse them but also mold their behavior accordingly. They are the members of society because of the traditions and customs which are common and which are passed shown from generation to generation through the process of socialization. And now, we define the meaning of culture. It is described as a highly cultured person, meaning the person in question has certain features such as his speech, manner, and taste for literature, music, or painting, which distinguish him from others. Culture also refers to an event of entertainment or cultural show. Culture is used in popular discourse. In this sense, culture is identified with aesthetics or the fine arts such as dance, music, or drama. This is also different from the technical meaning of a word culture. Culture also used in a special sense in anthropology and sociology. It refers to the sum of human beings' life ways, their behavior, beliefs, feelings, thoughts, and it connotes everything that is acquired by them as social beings. And according to Edward Taylor, culture as that complex whole which includes knowledge, beliefs, arts, morals, law, customs, and any other capabilities and habits acquired by man as a member of society. And some writers add to this definition that some of the important other capabilities and habits, such as language and the techniques for making and using tools. Non material culture. Some thinkers include the non material culture, and according to Sutherland and Woodward say, if culture exists only where is communication, then the context of culture can be ideas and symbol patterns. Then, culture is then an immaterial phenomenon, only a material of thoughts and meanings and habits, and not of visible and touchable material things. Culture is a material element. It is known as culture object. It is made and used in accordance with socially inherited tradition. According to the British anthropologist, which is Malinowski, include inherited artifacts, implemented and consumer goods, and social structure within his definition of culture. In addition, McLover says that culture is the expression of our nature in our modes of living and our thinking, intercourse in our literature, in religion, in recreation, and enjoyment. According to Hobel, culture is the sum total of integrated learning behavior patterns, which are characteristics of members of society and which are therefore not the result of biological inheritance. And according to Biersteds, culture is a complex whole that consists of everything we think and do and have as a universe man has produced and members of society. And according to understand and pattern, it is also the total content of psychosocial, biosocial, and psychosocial universe. Man has perceived and socially created mechanisms through which these social produce operate. According to Mazumadar, culture is the sum total of human achievements, which means that materials as well as non material capable of transmission sociologically by tradition and communication vertically as well as horizontally, which means that Culture as a sum total of human achievements and a total heritage of man which can be transmitted to men by communication and tradition. Lifestyle and social patterns of a society being the direct consequence of the accumulated heritage of ages past distinguish and differentiate one community from another. An individual receives culture as part of social heritage and in turn, many reshape the culture and introduce changes which then become part of the heritage of succeeding generations. Now, let's define the characteristics of culture. First, it is learned behavior. Often culture learn ways of behavior and however, not all behaviors learned, but most of it is learned. Sometimes the terms conscious learning and unconscious learning are used to distinguish learning. Obvious behaviors are called overt behavior, while the visible ones are called covert behavior. Second, culture is abstract. It is exists in the minds of habits of the members of society, which means that culture also is shared ways of doing and thinking. There are degrees of visibility of culture behavior, ranging from the regularized activities of person to very internal reasons for so doing. In the other hand, we cannot see culture as such, we can only see human behavior. This behavior occurs in regular patterns, fashion, and it's called culture. Third, culture is a pattern of learned behavior. It indicates that the learned behavior of people is pattern. The definition of this is each person's behavior often defined depends upon some particular behavior of someone else. The point of it is that, as a general rule, behaviors are somewhat integrated or organized with the related behaviors of other person. Fourth, culture is the products of behavior. Cultural learnings are the product of behavior. As a person behaves, there occur change in him. Human behavior is the result of behavior. The experience of other people are impressed on one as it grows up, and also many of these traits and abilities have grown out of his own past behavior. And fifth, culture includes attitudes, values, and knowledge. A widespread error in thinking of many people. It is the tend to regard the ideas, attitudes, and notions which they have as their own. It is easy to overestimate the uniqueness of one's own attitude and ideas. Sixth, culture also includes material objects. It is a behavior results in creating objects. Material culture includes the objects of belongings of human being, including a wide range of physical items. Just about anything you can see, feel, or touch that is not human has the potential to be an item of material culture. An example of this is a photographs, documents, artwork. And seven, culture is shared by the members of society. It is a behavior are possessed by large proportion. Person may share some part of a culture any equally. For example, as Americans do the Christian religion. To some person, Christianity is all important idea in life, but others also one less preoccupying or unimportant, and others says that it is a marginal significance only. 8. Culture is superorganic. It implies that culture is somehow superior to the nature. The word superorganic is useful when it implies that what may be quite a different phenomenon from a cultural point of view. For example, athery means different things in a botanist who studies it. The old woman who uses it for shade in the late summer afternoon. The same physical objects and physical characteristics in the other word may constitute a variety of quite different cultural objects and cultural characteristics. 9. Culture is pervasive. It touches every aspect of life. The pervasives of culture is manifest in two ways. First, culture provides in unquestioned context within which individual action and response takes place, and second is the culture pervades social activities and institutions. 10th, culture is a way of life. Culture is a way of life means simply the way of life of people or their design for living. A culture is a historically derived system of explicit and implicit design for living. Explicit culture refers to similarities in word and action which can be directly observed, while implicit culture exists in abstract form which are not quite obvious. 11th, culture is a product of human. It is a creation of society in interaction and depends on the existence upon the continuity of the society. Culture is a human product. It is not independently endowed with life. 12. Culture is idealistic. Culture embodies the ideas and norms of a group. It is sum total of the ideal patterns and norms of behavior of a group, and it consists of the intellectual, artistic, and social ideas and institutions which the members of the society profess and to which they strive to conform. 13. Culture is transmitted among members of the society, or it is learned by person from person. Other cultural behaviors are handed up to elders. Some of the transmission of culture is among contemporaries. 14th, culture is continually changing. One fundamental and inescapable attribute of culture. The effects of undergoing change. Societies of sometimes change slowly, and comparisons to other societies seems not to be changing at all, but they are changing even through not obviously slow. So, 15. Culture is variable. Culture varies from society to society, group to group. Culture varies from group to group within the same society. Cluster of patterns which one both related to general culture of society and yet distinguished from it. 16. Culture is an integrated system. Culture possesses an order and system. Its various parts are integrated with each other, and any new elements which is introduced is also integrated. 17. Language is the chief vehicle of culture. One of the most important vehicles of the perpetuating culture patterns. Language is the most important vehicle because culture is everything which is socially learned and shared by the members of society. It is a culture that, in the wide focus of the world, distinguishes individual from individual, group from group, and society. Now, let's define the function of culture. And the function and here and functions have four functions of culture. It is a culture defined situation, Culture defines attitude, values, and goals. Culture defines myth, legends, and supernatural. And culture provides behavior and pattern. And let define first the culture defines situation. Culture defines social situation for us. It is not only defines but also conditions and determines what eat and drink, we wear, we love, whip, sleep, love to like, friends with, what work we do, what God we worship, what knowledge we rely upon, what poetry we recite, and so on. Culture defines attitude, values, and goals. Each person learns from his or her culture what is good, true, and beautiful. Attitudes are tendencies to feel and act in certain ways. Values are measures of goodness or desirability. Goals are those attainments which our values define as worthy. Third, culture defines myth, legends, and supernatural. It is important parts of every culture. Culture also provides an individual with a ready-made view of a universe and a nature of a divine power, and important moral issues are defined by the culture. Fourth, culture provides behavior patterns. It is a ready-made set patterns. It is a ready-made set of patterns awaiting which they need only to learn and follow. If people use culture to advance their purpose, it is clear that a culture imposes limits on human and their activities. And that's what be all. Thank you.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you